Coach TC Taylor and the Jackson State Tigers take on Lane College this weekend. What to expect from the Tigers, what I think you should look forward to. A home opener for JSU against Lane. TC second year, what you should expect, and how I think the game will play out. We'll talk about it after the bumper. Stay tuned. What is going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? My name is JeffLightsyJr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show right here on JeffLightsYjr. YouTube, Facebook, wherever you get your content. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell because I upload all the time. Now, JSU takes on Lane College this weekend. It'll be the first game of the season for Lane. It'll be a home opener for JSU after their tough defeat on the road against UM Monroe last Thursday. This is a chance for the JSU Tiger fans, home fans, to be able to see Jackson State play at Veterans Memorial Stadium. I cannot wait to make it back to the Vet, by the way. Like, that's just a quick sidebar. I had so much fun the 2 times I went to the Vet, a SWAC championship game and the spring game the following year. So I can't wait to go back. But nonetheless, we're talking about the game against Lane. What are the things that plagued JSU last week against UM Monroe? It was the inability to put the ball down the field consistently and the missed tackling at times. I think at the line of scrimmage, JSU matched up pretty well against UM Monroe. I think because of that, they will be able to enforce their will on Lane. I don't know much about Lane. I just know they went 2-8 last year. They don't have much about the team this year. They play they play their Division II team. Obviously, they play in the same conference as like Kentucky State, Clark Atlanta. What's that? The SAIC. There's not really much known about Lane as of yet because they haven't played a game yet. But I think because JSU's line of scrimmage, the trench play is so good. Like, it's really, really good. They go 8-9 deep on both the offensive and defensive lines, and they held their own against UM Monroe. Like we said, it was a 1-possession game in the fourth quarter. It was it ended up being a 16-point loss, but it was literally a 1-touchdown game, and they were tied majority of the game, tied or 1 possession, essentially the entire game. Because of that, I think this is a very, very strong JSU team, and it's really, really strong in the running back room. So part of the criticism that I gave Coach TC Taylor last week was the play calling. I said I felt like they should have took more shots down the field. They showed that they could run the ball. Ahmad Miller was going crazy. Travis Terrell made plays, but I wanted them to try to push the ball down the field more. Well, Coach TC explained his reasoning for not doing that. He basically said they play 2 high safeties, and we didn't want to put the ball in harm's way by them playing 2 high safeties. With them playing 2 high safeties, that's them preventing us from trying to throw the ball deep. And that is what you do. Like, if you don't want a team to throw the ball deep, you put your 2 high safeties back and you say, hey, beat us with the run game. And UM Monroe did just enough. They weren't crazy about it. They did just enough to keep the Tigers out of the end zone more than the 2 times they were able to. I don't think Lane will be able to afford that luxury to keep JSU out of the end zone. And so therefore, you're not going to be able to play 2 high safeties because JSU can run the ball so well, because their offensive line looked as good as it did last week, and because Ahmad Miller is just impossible to take down, and Travis Terrell in open space is impossible to tackle, right? It's impossible to get a hand on. Ahmad Miller is going to if you get a hand on him, he's going to give you that Walter Payton stiff arm. It's going to be a lot for a Lane. I think they're going to be able to overwhelm Lane with Lane on the road. Now, let's not get it twisted. Lane has pulled off some upsets in the past. I think 2 years ago, they went up to Nashville and beat TSU, Eddie George, and the TSU Tigers. That won't be the case this year, though, because last year, that was 2 years ago. Last year, they played Alabama A&M, and they got beat 51-14. I think it'll be closer to that than what happened in Nashville 2 years ago, because I think JSU will be able to run the ball effectively early, on early downs and early in the game, and that will allow them to build a lead, which will then force Lane to try to pass the ball to try to come back. From there, your pass rushers, your Phillip Webbs of the world, and others, Jeremiah Williams, Phillip Webb, will be able to rush the passer and make some plays in the backfield. There'll be times for that secondary who led the FCS in interceptions. There'll be times they'll get some balls thrown their way. They say it's Guthrie. Others, they're going to have chances to make a play on the ball in the air. Will you be able to cash out and get an interception? Will you be able to cash out and force some turnovers? Will you be able to get in that backfield and strip sacks and tackles for loss and things like that? I think they will, because they showed me enough in that UL Monroe game that they're going to be able to overpower some teams. They're going to be able to really hit folks in the mouth. And I think it starts with Lane this weekend. Lane this weekend, and you need to really tune this thing all the way up, because you got your rival, your bitter, hated rival, Southern, coming in the next week. And so you're going to play your starters into the third quarter. Hopefully the game kind of gets out of hand and you're able to play your starters into the third quarter, get some drives out of them, because you need to be sharp and as crisp but healthy as possible when Southern comes into town next week. Not looking over Lane, though. Let's not get it twisted. It's the W.C. Gordon Classic. This is a team that has put off upsets in the past, but I think your trench play, your offensive and defensive lines will just be too much for Lane. And so you want to enforce your will early, get those points on the board early. That way you can pull your starters and have those guys ready. Now, you want them to stay sharp, right? But you want them to be healthy more than anything as you start conference play next week. Now, I think the Southern game isn't a conference game, but it's conference play, and it's Southern. And you got to be ready to beat Southern. You got to be ready to handle your business when Southern comes to town. So that's what I expect. If you're asking me a score, I think this could be a shutout. I think you try your hardest to pitch a shutout. I'm looking at this could be like a 42-0 type of game. Do your best to be a 42-0 type of game. Jacobian, the backs, the offensive line, everybody get in there, handle business, come out clean and healthy. Don't mess around, because once again, like I said, Lane in the past has shown that they can upset some folks. Lane in the past has shown that they've given people problems in the years past. Not so much last year, 2-8, but in the past they have. You don't want that to happen. You don't want to mess around with that. Get in there, score your touchdowns early. Ahmad should be able to get in that, touch that pay dirt a couple of times. Travis Terrell should be able to get in the end zone. Get your wide receivers going too. What I do want to see, though, you don't want your wideouts checking out on you. And so take some shots down the field. Once those safeties start creeping up because they can't stop the run, show off that arm by Jacobian. Not so sure if I want him running a lot in this game, because this isn't the type of game that you want to leave your quarterback subject to getting hit, but get the ball down the field. Run the ball effectively with Ahmad, with Travis. I think they said Nate Blunt will be able to play this week. Get them the ball. Let them tote the rock. Irv and J.D. Martin are still out. Let them tote the rock. Let them build some yardage. Let them get in pay dirt, get in the end zone, and then take some shots down the field so your wide receivers feel involved. These are the type of games that should be where you get everybody involved, where everybody feels good about themselves, where everybody has something to go tell mom and them, granny and them, their girlfriend and them after the game, and you go party. It's a 6 p.m. game, so the lights are going to be on. Everybody's going to be partying, the dancing, the boom's going to be loud. Let's get in the end zone. Let's build that confidence as Southern comes into town next week. Put the SWAC on notice. I think the SWAC got an image like, okay, JSU, they look pretty good. I mean, they lost to UM Monroe. They look pretty good. Send a message with a 42-0 shutout. As Southern comes in, say, hey, Southern, this is what you got to deal with when you come in here. That means attendance needs to be on point. The boom needs to be loud and proud. And the boom was so precise, so pristine in their formations and what they were able to do against UM Monroe. That halftime performance at UM Monroe, I mean, the boom was booming. I mean, they were so pristine. They was going back and forth, and they was turning, and they was getting busy out there, out in Louisiana Monroe. So, yeah, everybody needs to be on point as Southern comes in the next week. 42-0 needs to be the goal. 42-0. We need to see a 0 in that Lane scoreboard column to send that message to Southern like, hey, these are the problems you want next week. These are the problems actually you don't want, but you're going to get them when you come in here next week. So that's how I see it playing out. That's how I think Coach T.C. Taylor wants it to play out, and that's how it very much should play out. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. JSU versus Lane preview. They should handle business and beat Lane. My prediction is 42-0. I predict a shutout and a great game by all the JSU Tigers. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Once again, my name is Jeff Lightsy Jr. This is the Victor Formation Sports Show right here on Jeff Lightsy Jr. YouTube, Facebook, wherever you get your content. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe to the notification bell. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Peace.